Define the following terms. Okay? Those terms we talked about, let's say, last time, right? Okay, let's look at this. So you have the first term is allophone. What is an allophone? Define the following terms.
A different version of the phoneme, but it doesn't change it.
Exactly. Very good. Excellent, actually. Yeah? What's an allophone? It's a different version of the phoneme, a different physical realization of the phoneme, and it doesn't change the meaning of words. It means if you replace one allophone for another, it's not going to change the meaning of the word. So if you aspirate the ta in tree, if you don't aspirate the ta in tree, you still have the same meaning. So allophones do not change the meaning of words. Number 2, phoneme. What is a phoneme? Yes.
It's a meaning distinguishing the sound in a language.
Exactly. It means this segment, this sound, changing the meaning of words. Okay? Good. Number 3, phonotactics. Do you remember phonotactics? What is phonotactics? Yes.
The listen between two slashes.
The phoneme is actually the sound between two slashes. The allophone is the sound between two square brackets. But what is phonotactics? We said phonotactics of English.
The rules of phonology.
Exactly, rules of phonology. Rules of the combination of two sounds or more. So, phonotactics, you can say, are the rules or the constraints that govern the combination of sounds in English. Do you remember when we said the sound, for example, ka and ra? Does English allow this combination of sounds? Ka and ra? Yes, in a way just like crowd. Yeah, so it allows it. Okay, just a minute. I think you have to press something in here. I don't know why is it clear. Yes, it's here. So what should I do now? Okay, do we have to press something like here? Okay, it's okay. Let's continue. So you have phonotactics. We said phonotactics. What do you actually? Rules that govern. Let's say the combination of two sounds or more. Could be 3 sounds in English, right? Yeah, okay. So those are phonotactics. We said we actually use the term phonotactics for these rules. Okay, let's continue. You also have narrow transcription. Can anyone please remind me what is a narrow transcription? Exactly. So a narrow transcription is a transcription where you add details to that transcription. We gave you an example last time. So we said a narrow transcription would be like, for example, the word, let's say, trap. Okay? The word trap. If I ask you to do a narrow transcription for this word, you have to add details. For example, detail number 1, you have aspiration in the sound ta. So it's going to be pronounced as ta. So you have ra, then you have trap. Trap. This is how you transcribe this word. This is narrow transcription because you add details. What is the detail that I added? What is it? The ha sound, sorry, the aspiration, the aspirated ta. It's like a small h to represent that this sound is aspirated. Good? This is narrow transcription. What is a broad transcription? Exactly, no details. No details. So a broad transcription would look something like this. Trap. Without any details. With no aspiration. Why? Because that is a broad transcription. So can we now tell the difference between narrow transcription and broad transcription? Yeah. This one is a detailed transcription. It means you add details to the transcription. Here you don't have details. Also, we now know the difference between allophone and phoneme. We said a phoneme changes the meaning of words. Allophone does not change the meaning of words. Good so far? Okay, let's continue with this question. Give several examples of the following. Number 1, allophonic processes in English. Do you remember when I talked about allophonic processes? We said processes that do not change the meaning of words. Aspiration. Aspiration is an allophonic process. Why? Because it doesn't change the meaning of words. Number 2, what else did I talk about, Muzayyan? Flapping, exactly. Flapping is what? an allophonic process. Why? Because it doesn't change the meaning of words. We said if I said writer, if I said writer, same thing. You're still talking about the same word, writer. Okay? So flapping is an allophonic process that doesn't change the meaning of words. What else did I talk about? Nasalization. We said nasalization is allophonic in English. Why is it allophonic? Because it doesn't change the meaning of words. And number 4 that I talked about, yes, glottal replacement, or you can say glottalization. So you replace, for example, the sound ta in a word bottle and you say bottle. Does that change the meaning of words? No. So it's an allophonic process. Number 2, give me an example of a minimal pair. Do you remember minimal pairs? Yeah.
Like fan and van.
Exactly. Fan and van is a minimal pair. It means they are identical in form except for one sound. Another example, Muzayyan. Sight and side. That's a minimal pair.
Ice and rice.
Ice, you mean rice and rise. Yes. Rice and rice, those are minimal pair. They are different in one sound. Good. An example of a minimal set, we said it is the same, just like minimal pairs, except that you have more than 2 words. We talked about it last time. Yes, an example? Seen and seed. This is a minimal pair. If you're going to have a minimal set, it is more than 2 words. So you have to have, for example, foot, fit, fought, and so on. More than 2 words. This is a minimal set. Do you have any questions about any of those? Okay, let's continue number 3. Now use diacritic marks. We said the word diacritic means symbols. So for example, the small h here is a diacritic. So instead of saying small symbol, what we have to say, diacritic. A diacritic is a small symbol that you add to the sounds. Okay? For aspiration, we said the diacritic for aspiration is the small h. For, let's say, we said the voices stop ta, we said ka also, and we said also you have pa. Those are the voiceless stops in English that you aspirate. Yeah? Remember, we said you only aspirate voiceless stops, and they have to be in initial position. Dentalization, do you remember dental ta? What is the symbol for dental ta? So we said, for example, it looks something like this. Do you remember this? Yes. So this is dentalization. Remember, dentalization is also an allophonic process because it doesn't change the meaning of words. So in a word just like eighth, this is not a normal ta. It's going to be a dental ta because it's affected by the dental sound ta. We talked about this last time. Let's continue. Nasalization. Do you remember the symbol that we use for nasalization? We said a word just like seen. How do you give a narrow transcription for the word seen? It's going to look something like this, right? So what is the symbol or the diacritic for nasalization? Is this symbol. Do you see it? This symbol is for nasalization. I'm not going to say symbol now. We're going to use the word diacritic. Diacritic means a small symbol that you add to the sounds, just like nasalization, dentalization, also aspiration. Good so far? Okay, we're going also to actually to focus on, let's say, the allophonic process. If you did not actually listen to us while we're saying that. So those are the allophonic processes in English that we talked about, right? So you have allophonic processes in English. Number 1, aspiration. We talked about it, right? Flapping in American English. We said you only have flapping in American English. You don't have this in British English. Number 3, we talked about nasalization. Do you remember? And we said if you have a vowel that is followed by a nasal, it's going to be nasalized. And we talked about the differences between nasalized sounds and nasal sounds. Yeah? Number 4, we talked about glottalization and what we call glottal replacement. Okay? For example, we gave you an example a little while ago. We said bottle instead of bottle. It doesn't change the meaning of words. So glottal replacement or glottalization is allophonic. We also talked about dentalization, but not in details. We said, for example, the ta sound in a word just like eighth is going to be a dental ta. Why? Because the dental sound ta is going to affect the pronunciation of the ta, so the ta is going to be dentalized. Good? Okay. Let's continue. I think last time I also started talking about syllables, right? We're going to focus on syllables a little bit more, and we actually defined a syllable, and we said A syllable is a unit of pronunciation having one vowel sound. This is the most important thing. Each syllable must have one vowel. If you have, for example, 10 vowels in a word, yeah, imagine you have 10 vowels in a word, you have 10 syllables. If you have 1 million vowels, you're going to have 1 million syllables. So the most important thing about the syllable is to have the vowel. We gave you a word last time. We said a word just like teacher, right? And we said, let's look at the word teacher. Now remember, if I want to look at the syllables, I have to transcribe first. So I'm going to transcribe the word teacher, and it's going to look like something like this. Teach. Yeah? Let's look at the word teacher. How many syllables I have in the word teacher? How do you know that? What did you count? The vowels. You said T, then you said ch. So you have, this is the first syllable. This is number 1. And this is the second syllable. So how did I decide how many words I have in this word? I counted the vowels. So I said teacher. Teacher. I have 2 vowels. It means I have 2 syllables. When I said the word just like computer, we said computer. So I have 3 syllables in the word computer. So what did I do? I counted the vowels. It means the most important part of the syllable is the vowel. And consonants are not actually important. Okay, look at this. Can you have this as a syllable? The sound ta. Is that a syllable? It's not a syllable, it's just a sound. Now, let's have a word just like I. The word I, it's a pronoun I. And if you transcribe it, you're going to end up with a vowel, with a diphthong. Is that a syllable? Yes. So vowels can be syllables, but consonants cannot be syllables. What does that tell us? It tells us that vowels are more important than consonants in a syllable. It means the core. You know the core, the word core? Core. The essence of a syllable is what? Is the vowel. So look at this. That's why it's written in red. Because I wanted to say this is the most important part of the syllable. A unit of pronunciation having one vowel sound with or without surrounding vowels. So I could have, consonants. So I could have, let's say, 1 consonant and 1 vowel. This is a syllable. I could have 3 consonants and 1 vowel, a syllable. I could have 1 vowel, it's a syllable. 1 consonant, no, that's not a syllable. Okay? You see why the vowel is very important? Okay, forming the whole or part of the word could be, we could have 1 syllable words. It means words that contain only 1 syllable, just like sat, the word sat. How many syllables you have in the word sat? 1. You could have, could be the syllable part of the word, because you could have more than 1 syllable in a word. For example, the word teacher is a 2-syllable word. You could have a 3-syllable word. You could have even more. Okay? Okay. Now, what are the basic elements of a syllable? I think I talked about this a little bit last time, yeah? We said number 1, the onset. We said the word onset means the beginning of the syllable. The word onset means beginning. So the onset, it should be occupied by a consonant. So you only put in the onset a consonant. You cannot put a vowel in the onset. Number 2, we talked about the rhyme. And we said the rhyme, you can write the rhyme. You can spell it R-I-M-E, or you can have this spelling for the rhyme. Okay? American, British. Okay? Doesn't matter. Anyone you want to use. Consists of the nucleus. We said the nucleus means the core. Yeah? It means the most important part of the syllable. The vowel, of course. The nucleus is always the vowel. Then you have the coda, any following consonants. Okay? Let's look at okay. Let's look at this. The syllable. Yeah? Those are the basic components of a syllable. We said the syllable consists of the onset. The onset is the beginning of the syllable. And it should be occupied by consonant. It could be occupied actually in English words. You could have 1 consonant in the onset. You could have 2 consonants in the onset. Or you could have 3 consonants in the onset in English. Do you have more than 3 in the onset in English? Never. You cannot have 4 consonants at the beginning of English words. This is say up to 3. Then, in the nucleus, you have the vowel. The vowel, which is, let's say, the core of the syllable. Then the coda, you have the following consonant. So you could have one consonant in the coda, you could have two consonants, and also you could have three consonants, just like in the word text. We're going to see. I'm going to give you examples. Okay. So what we're going to do now is try to, let me go to PC and let's go to the second slide. Yes. What we're going to do is to analyze the syllable structure of the following one-syllable words in English. So we're going to draw trees for the syllable structure of these words. Let's look at these words. Let's try to examine them really quickly before we do that. We said number one, me. So it consists of one consonant and one vowel. Remember, the first thing you should do is to transcribe, okay? So, for example, if I look at a word just like kell, I cannot say it has two consonants in the coda. Why? Because you have to transcribe first. So when I transcribe, okay, let's transcribe first for all of them. So you have a word me, okay? Me, okay? That's two dots, okay? How do I analyze the syllable structure of the word me? You're going to have, let's go back to, let's say, the other slide. No, that's the other slide. Okay, just a minute. Okay, I think I can do it from here. Okay. Okay, let's look at this. The word just like me, let's look at that. A word just like me, how can I analyze the syllable structure of me? We said, number one, you transcribe the word. So it's going, this is the transcription. Okay. Me, okay? Okay, this is the transcription of the word me. Okay, of course you have to place square brackets. How can I analyze the syllable structure of the word me? Number one, the consonant m is going to be in the onset, right? Then, the vowel e is going to be in the nucleus. Of course, it's a long vowel, so I'm going to add two dots, okay? Then, do I have a coda? No. So you cross the coda. You cross it out. We don't have a coda. Okay? Okay, let's go back to the other words. Okay, try to analyze them. Look at the word I. The word I. Let me transcribe it first. Let me transcribe it. So how do you transcribe the word I? Look at this. You only have one vowel. So do I have an onset? No, you cross it out. No onset. Do I have a coda? No coda. So when I draw the syllable, I'm going to use sigma, this symbol, to represent the syllable. And I'm going to call this symbol sigma. Okay? So the syllable consists of actually a rhyme, because I don't have an onset for the word I. Do I have onsets? No. A rhyme consists of a nucleus. Do I have a coda? Do I have a coda in here? No. I don't have any consonants in here, or any, just a vowel, exactly. So the nucleus consists of one vowel, which is I. That's it. If you want to do it for the word I. Okay? Let's look at the word kell. We said number one, you transcribe. The word kell is very clear. You have an onset, a nucleus, and a coda. Good? Okay. Let's look at the word screen. Let me do the word screen. So number one, we said you transcribe. You have the sa sound, you have the ka sound, then you have e. Okay? Screen. How can I analyze the structure, the syllable structure of this word? We said you draw a sigma, and you say it consists of an onset. How many consonants we have in the onset? 3. So 1, 2, 3. You have sa, ka, and ra. Then you have the rhyme, and the rhyme consists of a nucleus, the vowel e. Then I also have a coda. Okay, with the coda, I'm going to write C and a small d to say this one actually stands for a coda and not a consonant, okay? Coda, you have. You see how we do it? How we analyze the structure of the word screen? Okay, let's look at the word L. You're done with that? Okay. Okay, I need you to do these words by yourselves. L, art, park, plaque, and text. You have 2 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes to do these words. Try to do them yourselves. Number one, transcribe, okay? Number 2, after you transcribe, draw a tree just like that. 2 minutes. Let's do this. 2 minutes. Try to do from 5 to 9 by yourselves. Transcribe first, okay? So I'm going to write this note. Transcribe first. Transcribe first. Okay? Transcribe first. Then you can analyze the syllable structure of these words. Okay, you start. You have 2 to 3 minutes, please. If you have any problems, raise your hand. Start with the word L. Where's your notebook? Yeah, okay, go ahead, do that. Okay, next time I need to see everyone with a notebook, okay? We do a lot of exercises. Where do you write all these exercises? Where do you write them? You need a notebook. Yeah, just a minute. Let me see, Lama, then I'll come back to you. Is this how you transcribe L? It's not L, ale. It's ill. This one. This vowel. Right? Okay, good. Nucleus. Just you need it to be, you have no onset. That's it. Yeah, no onset. Yes? Okay. Is this how you transcribe L? You have E. Ill. Okay? You have art, correct, park, plaque, text. Good. Now start analyzing the syllable structure. Good. Exactly. You don't have to draw an onset. Just cross it out. Okay, good. Then you have art. Also, we don't have an onset, but we do have a coda. Yes, exactly. No onset. Cross it out. Good. Yeah. Fine. Yeah.
More than vowel and syllable? Or
What do you mean more? No, a syllable has only one vowel. Okay? A syllable has only one vowel. This vowel could be short, could be long, could be a diphthong. Okay? If you have any problems, be careful about this question, okay? Really important. Okay, let's do this. We don't want to waste any time. So you have a word just like L. How do you transcribe the word L? L. Do I have an onset? Do I have an onset in L? No onset. So I'm going to cross the onset. No onset. I'm going to start with the rhyme. I have the nucleus, the vowel, I, then I have the la. Okay? Okay, what about art? Same thing. How do you transcribe it? First, art. Do I have an onset? How many consonants I have in the coda? 2. Good. Let's look at park. Park, do I have an onset in park? Yes, the p sound. Then you have park. How many consonants I have in the coda? 2. You have the r and the k. So you're going to have 2 consonants in the coda. You're going to branch it. Let me do park. Okay, let me do park.
There is an aspiration in park here.
Yes, in pa, there's an aspiration. Exactly. Okay, let's look at this. Pen. So you have park, you have the syllable. Then, do I have an onset? Yes. And it's going to be pa. I have the rhyme, and the rhyme consists of the nucleus. You have a, Then I have a coda. How many consonants I have in the coda? 2. So it's going to be ra and ka. Is this difficult? No, it's very clear. You have the word black. You have 2 consonants in the onset and 1 consonant in the coda. Yeah, you also have the same vowel a. Okay, in a word just like text, let me do text. Text. Okay, let's do text. Let's transcribe the word text first. Text. Let's see. You have the first consonant in the onset, 1 consonant in the onset. How many consonants I have in the coda? 3. So you're going to have syllable, onset is going to be the ta sound. Then I'm going to have the rhyme. The rhyme consists of a nucleus, is going to be e. Then I'm going to have the coda. The coda branches into 2 consonants. It's going to be, 3. You have ka, sa, and ta. Very easy, right? Do you have any questions about this?
No.
Very clear. In your class, we're going only to analyze 1-syllable words. It means words with 1 syllable in your class. That's it. That's all I need you to understand in this class. Maybe later, in our phonology class, we're going to analyze words with more than 1 syllable.
We start with a vowel. It means that there is no onset.
No onset, yes. If you start with a vowel, it means that you have no onset. Good? If you have something like CV, do I have a coda? No. Now, if you look at these C and V, C stands for a consonant, V stands for a vowel. Those are the shapes of the syllable. Shapes of the syllables in English. Let's look at this. Shapes of the syllables in English. We said you could have a word with 2 consonants, vowel, then a consonant. C, C, V, C. An example of this word, black. Right? We gave you an example. So I'm asking you here a question. Can you give word examples of each? So this one, just like black. Okay. Remember, the C and K in here is pronounced as a sound ka. We don't care about the spelling. Be careful. Now you have VCC, just like art. Yes. You have CVC, just like sat. You have V, just like I. Okay, look at this. I cannot say, for example, you have a vowel, then you have a consonant, then you have a vowel. No. We don't care about the spelling. What we care about is the transcription. I look at the transcription. How many vowels and consonants I have? 1 vowel in I. CV, just like me. We gave you an example. Now, VC, just like at. Right? Then you have CVCC, just like park. You have CCC. It means you have 3 consonants in the onset, just like screen, splash. Yeah? Scratch. Good? Okay, then you have CVCC, just like text. You have 3 consonants in the coda. We did that. We already did that, but just to make sure that you understand the shapes of the syllables in English. And we gave examples of each. Now we're going to talk about a new term for you, a new phonological term. It's called the consonant cluster. We're going to see what a consonant cluster is. Let's look at a word just like black. I have 2 consonants at the beginning. I have 2 consonants in the onset. Do I have any vowel intervening between them? No, I don't. We call this a consonant cluster. It means you have consonants without vowels intervening. Okay? So, do I have a consonant cluster? It could be 2 vowels in English, 2 consonants, sorry, or it could be 3, not more. So those are the consonant clusters in English. A group of consonants that have no vowel intervening. Intervening means in the middle between them. So look at this. This is a consonant cluster, CC, just like in black, a consonant cluster. I have CC with no vowels intervening. Okay, CCC, a consonant cluster, just like the word screen. Yeah? This is a consonant cluster. Of course, that's a K sound. This is a consonant cluster. Why? Because I have 3 consonants without vowels intervening. Do you see what a consonant cluster is? Okay, so we already know that, but we're using like linguistics term for that, okay? Linguistic terms for these things, okay? So, what is a consonant cluster again? A consonant cluster is a group of consonants that have no vowels intervening between them. So, you don't have a vowel between them, that's a consonant cluster. And CCC, that's a consonant cluster because you do have a group of consonants with no vowels in the middle between them. Good? Okay. Okay, this is a consonant cluster. I'm going to talk about the consonant cluster CCC. And how do we organize the sounds in 3 consonants in English? Okay, we said most of the words in English that start with 3 consonants, they're going to start with the sound sa. All of them, actually. Yeah? Okay, so when you have 3 consonants in English, the first consonant has to be sa. So let us talk about the organization of the 3 consonants in English. So the first consonant should be sa. Can you think of a word in English that starts with a 3 consonant and the first consonant is not sa? Impossible, we cannot find that. This is the phonology of English. We're studying the organization of sounds. So what we're doing here, okay, English phonology says if you want to have 3 consonants at the beginning of English words, the first consonant should be a sa sound. The second consonant could be a voiceless stop. Yeah, a ka, pa, or ta. Only a voiceless stop. If you have 3 consonants. Yeah? Now, the third consonant should be an approximant. Could be a la. Okay, I'm going to write approximant. Do you remember approximants? Do you remember approximants? How many approximants we have in English? 4. 2, 3, 4. Yeah? 4 approximants in English. So we have the la, we have the ra, we have the ka, and we have, sorry, not the ka, sorry. We have the wa and the ya. Wa and the ya. Let's have examples. A word just like screen. What is it? The word just like screen. It starts with the first consonant, which is sa. The second consonant, the ka, which is a voiceless stop. And the third consonant is an approximant, which is the ra. Another word, splash. It starts with the consonant sa. The second consonant is a voiceless stop. And the third consonant is an approximant, which is the la. In splash. Let's have another word. A word just like square. Yeah? Square. You have sa, ka, then you have wa. You start with a sa sound, then the voiceless stop ka, then the wa sound, which is an approximant. So this is the phonological rule of organization of 3 consonants at the beginning of English words. Number 1, you start with the sa sound. Number 2, you do have a ka, pa, or ta, a voiceless stop. Okay? Not a voice stop, voiceless. Then you have an approximant, and we gave you examples. Square, screen, splash, and so on. Street, let's look at street. Start with a sa, then you have a voiceless stop, which is ta, then you have an approximant, ra.
What about star?
I'm sorry?
Star.
It starts with 2 consonants. Star is 2 consonants, not 3. Yeah? Look at the word star. How many consonants you have at the beginning? 2. We're talking about 3 consonants, if you have 3 consonants. Because so far, actually, last year I actually explained to my students that 2 consonants, how we organize them. But we're not going to do this in this class because we're going to leave that for phonology course, okay? For the phonology course, we're going to talk about the organization of sounds of 2 consonants. For your class, what you are required to know is the 3 consonants. How do we organize the 3 consonants in English? Start with a sa, then a voiceless stop, then an approximant. Good? This one, we're not going to talk about it in this class. Yeah. Spring. Let's talk about spring. You have start with a sa, then a voiceless stop pa, then an approximant ra. Spring. Let's look at the word spring. Do you want me to write it? Spring. Good? Sa, voiceless stop, approximant. Good? So this is a phonological rule. Believe me, it applies to all English words. Okay? For are the 3 consonants. That's why they call it a rule. Yeah? What kind of rules is that? A phonological rule. Remember, phonology deals with the organization of sounds. It deals with the patterns of sounds. It deals with a combination of sounds. So phonology of English says if you want to have 3 consonants, this is what you should have. This is how you organize the sounds. As I said in this class, according to your textbook, it doesn't talk about the 2 consonants. I actually did that last year with my students. We actually talked about this, but it's going to be a little bit advanced for you. So in this class, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to leave this for the phonology class. You don't have it in your textbook, okay? So we're not going to give you more information. You're going to be more confused with more information. Okay, that's enough. That's all you need to know about consonant clusters and the 3 consonants in English, okay? Okay, let's continue. We're going also to talk about 2 co-articulation effects. Okay, I'm not going to call them co-articulation effects now. We're going to talk about 2 important phonological processes. Okay? Remember I talked about allophonic processes? Allophonic processes are actually phonological processes. It means it has to do with the position of that sound in a word. For example, when do you aspirate? If you have a voiceless stop at the beginning of the word, yeah? Okay, when do you nasalize vowels? When do you nasalize? If you have a nasal after the vowel. So actually, when you talk about co-articulation effects, you talk about phonological processes. When I mention the word phonological, it has to do with the position of that sound in a word. Okay? And it is going to be affected by the nearby sounds or the surrounding sounds. Okay. So we're going to talk about 2 co-articulation effects. We need to understand what the word co-articulation means. Look at this. Co-articulation is the process of making one sound almost at the same time as the next. Yeah? For example, do you remember nasalization? Do you remember the word seen? We said the vowel E is affected by the nasal na. Do you remember this? Okay. Okay. She pressed something. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. It's not going to work. It's fine. Okay, so you have the word seen. Okay, do you remember when we said that nasal na is going to affect the vowel E? This is a co-articulation effect. Why? Because the nasal na is affecting the articulation or the production of the vowel E. So the vowel E is going to be nasalized just like the nasal na. So this is a co-articulation effect. We're going to talk about 2 important processes. They are phonological processes. Yes, there are 2 well-known co-articulation effects or phonological processes. Number 1, we're going to talk about assimilation. And number 2, we're going to talk about elision. Those are the only 2 processes that we're going to talk about in this class. Okay? So 2 phonological processes. Okay, when we think about nasalization, it's actually a kind of assimilation. A kind of assimilation. What is assimilation? Assimilation is a common phonological process. So it is a phonological process by which one sound becomes more like a nearby sound. This can occur either within a word or between words. We're going to explain that. But I need you to understand when we talk about assimilation, it means one sound is going to affect the pronunciation of the nearby sound. Nasalization, for example. Nasalization is actually assimilation. Why is it assimilation? Because the nasal na affects the pronunciation of the vowel E, and the vowel E is going to be nasalized. Good? Okay, let's look at these examples to understand what assimilation is. Look at this. Assimilation in manner of articulation. This is one kind of assimilation, okay? It means the manner of articulation of some consonants are affected by the manner of articulation of other consonants. So the manner of articulation, for example, in the word seen. Do you remember the na? What is the manner of articulation of the sound na? It is a nasal. This nasal is going to affect the pronunciation of the vowel E in seen. And this vowel is going to be nasalized. So you have assimilation in manner of articulation. You have examples, yeah, we gave an example, nasalization. We have a phonological rule that says any vowel becomes nasal whenever it immediately precedes a nasal. Okay? This actually, we have to change it. We cannot say any vowel becomes nasal. Any vowel becomes nasalized. Nasalized. Okay? This one is actually more accurate. I cannot say the vowel becomes nasal. I have to say the vowel becomes nasalized if it's followed by a nasal. So nasalization is assimilation. It means you have an assimilation in manner of articulation. Okay, I just need the pen to work because I need to write something. Okay, hope you could see me. Okay. So number one, we said assimilation in manner of articulation. We said an example of that is nasalization. So what happens in assimilation? One sound, thank you, one sound is affected by the other sound. So let's do this. Let's do this. You have the word pen. How do I transcribe the word pen? I have pen, right? So what is going to happen in assimilation? Remember, nasalization, it is assimilation. Because one sound is affected by another. So this nasal sound is going to affect the pronunciation of the vowel E. The vowel E is going to become nasalized. So you do have, okay, let me see that. So it's going to look something like this, and I'm going to use the diacritic for assimilation, and then you have N. Pen. You have a word just like ban. How do you transcribe the word pan? This is how you transcribe the word pan. Now the nasal n is going to affect the pronunciation of a, and it's going to become nasalized. This is assimilation, but in what? In manner of articulation. Okay? So the nasalization rule, what does it say? Any vowel becomes nasalized when it immediately precedes a nasal. Okay? It means if you have a nasal after the vowel, this vowel is going to become nasalized. Okay? We're not going to use the word nasal. You have to say nasalized. Because originally, this vowel is an oral vowel. Okay? It becomes nasalized because it is affected by a nasal. This is assimilation. Okay? Another example of assimilation is assimilation in place of articulation. Let's look at an example. A word just like incomplete. Incomplete. We're not actually going to pronounce the N here normally. Okay, so you have incomplete, so you have a K sound in here, right? And if you're going to transcribe the first one, I, the N sound is not going to be a normal N. Why? Because the K sound in here is going to affect the pronunciation of the N. And the N is going to become something like this, incomplete. It's also to become a velar nasal. Again, so what is assimilation in place of articulation? The K sound, what is the place of articulation of K? It is a velar. Yeah? So the K sound is a velar sound. It's going to affect the pronunciation of the N sound before that. The N is not going to be a normal N because it's affected by the K, by the velar sound. So this nasal, the N nasal, is going to become the velar nasal, which is ing. Do you remember we have three nasals in English? You have the bilabial nasal, which is the M. You have the velar nasal, which is the ing. And you have the alveolar nasal, which is the N. Yeah? So this one, the N, this N, is going to be a velar nasal. What is the velar nasal that we have? Ing. Another example. I can go. Remember, assimilation happens in one word, or it could happen between words. So, the N here, and you have a G sound. What is the place of articulation of G? Velar. The velar sound is going to affect the pronunciation of the N here, the nasal N. The nasal N is going to become a velar nasal. I can go. So it's incomplete. It doesn't sound like incomplete. Why do I pronounce it as incomplete? Because the N is affected by the K. This is assimilation. Okay? Another example, you have impossible. Let's look at impossible. Originally, this M was N. Okay? It was N. And we attached the adjective possible to it. What happened now? The P sound impossible affected the pronunciation of the na. What is the place of articulation of the pa? Bilabial. So it's going to affect the nasal na. And it's going to become a bilabial nasal. That's why we have it as impossible. Yeah? This is what? Assimilation. In what? In place of articulation. Again, in a word just like impossible, what really happens? So you have, it actually started with N. You add N to adjectives to have the opposite, right? So you say, for example, possible, and the opposite of possible, impossible. So actually we add N, just like complete. What is the opposite of complete? Incomplete. So originally we added the N. But this N became a mass sound. Why? Because the pa sound here is a bilabial sound. Because we do have assimilation, this pa sound affected the pronunciation of the nasal na. The alveolar nasal became a bilabial nasal, just like the bilabial pa. So you pronounce it now as impossible. So this is bilabial, this is bilabial. They became the same. Here, look here. This is vela, the ka is vela. They became the same. In I can go, this is vela, this is vela. They became the same. And this is the definition of assimilation. Two sounds become the same, or one of them is affecting the other one. Yeah? And we said we have two examples of, or two, let's say, kinds of assimilation, two types of assimilation. Okay? Let me show you in your textbook where you can find more examples. Let me show you.
It deals with suffix and prefix.
Yeah, this one is a prefix and you have a word. Yeah, this is a prefix and not a suffix. Okay? I say, look at this. Let me show you. So you have, we talked about, look at assimilation. Assimilation on page 59. In this section of the book, they talk about the nasalization as a type of assimilation. And also they talk about, in a word just like I can go, assimilation in place of articulation. Remember, nasalization is assimilation in manner of articulation. Okay? Let me show you question number. Look at page 60 quickly, page 60. And look at question B, discussion topics projects. Do you see that? Look at B. Do you see B? English words. Do you see the question? Okay, let's read that question. English words like audible and edible can be made negative by adding N to produce inaudible and inedible. Yeah? So what do we do in English? You know this process? You know this morphological process where you have an adjective, and if you want to have the opposite, you add N. Yes, so just like you have audible means can be heard, inaudible cannot be heard. Edible, fit to be eaten. Inaudible is not fit to be eaten. Yeah? Okay. Look at I. You see I in the question B? What types of assimilation processes appear to have been involved in the pronunciation of the following negatives? Look at the first one, impossible. Impossible. Affected by the bilabial ba. So it's not going to be pronounced as impossible. Why? Because you have assimilation. The pa sound, which is a bilabial sound, is going to affect the nasal sound na. And it's not going to be pronounced na anymore. It's going to be a ma, a bilabial nasal, just like the pa, which is bilabial. Yeah? Okay. You have a word just like illegal. Illegal. Let's look at a word just like illegal. So what happens? Let me have this. So you have a rule in English. A rule in English says, if you could have N plus an adjective, right? To have the opposite of that adjective, right? Possible, impossible, active, inactive, and so on. Audible, inaudible. So what happens? Sometimes when you attach, for example, N to a word just like possible, you're going to have assimilation. Because the pa sound is going to affect the na, and the na is going to become a bilabial nasal. What is the bilabial nasal that we have? It's the ma. So it's going to become impossible. Okay, a word just like incomplete. The N here is not going to be pronounced as a normal N. It's going to be pronounced as ing. Right? Also, in a word just like illegal. So what do? They said you have N and you have the adjective legal. So what happened? The la sound is going to affect the na sound. Since we don't have a lateral alveolar, a lateral nasal, this is going to be the same as the la. So it's going to be illegal. Another example you have in the textbook, irresponsible. You have the word responsible. It should be irresponsible. But the sound ra is affecting the pronunciation of the na, and it's going to be irresponsible, double R. Yeah, you have it in your textbook. So this is assimilation in what? In place of articulation. This is the type of assimilation you have here. So it says what type of assimilation you have here? Assimilation in place of articulation. You have immature. So originally it was in, mature, but because the sound ma affected the na, it's going to be immature. Indecent. Is the na here affected? We don't have assimilation in here actually, because the da is not going to affect the na, because they do have the same place of articulation. Na is an alveolar, da is an alveolar. Incomplete is going to be pronounced as ing. Ingratitude is going to be pronounced as ing, because you have a vela ga. It's going to affect the pronunciation of the na. Then you have insane. Insane, you don't have assimilation in here. Why? The sa is an alveolar, na is an alveolar. They're not going to affect each other in place of articulation. Yeah? Is this clear? Do you have any questions about assimilation? Okay, good. You have another question about another example of assimilation. So we looked at B. Look at D. D on page 61. The use of plural S. Do you see that? The use of plural S in English has 3 different but very regular phonological alternatives. I think you talked about this in your advanced grammar. You said, for example, it's going to be pronounced as sa for shits, pats, books, and coughs. Why is that? Because the final consonant is voiceless. So it's going to affect the pronunciation of the plural S. So the plural S is going to be voiceless as well. This is assimilation. Let me show you. Let me show you another example of assimilation. This is assimilation in voicing. Yeah? You can add a third example, assimilation in voicing. Voicing. Assimilation in voicing. So in your advanced grammar, if you remember, we told you that a word just like book, if you want to have the plural of book, you add the plural S. Now, how do you pronounce it? You pronounce it as za or sa? Sa. You say books. Why? The ka is voiceless. And it's going to affect the pronunciation of the plural S, and it's going to be voiceless as well. So you're going to pronounce it as sa. This is assimilation. It means one sound affecting the other. Another example could be just like in a word where you have boots. No, boots you have a sa. Where you have a za, an example would be, woods. Yes, woods, or you could have, woods. Let's have woods. You have the word wood. Yeah? If you want to have the plural of this word, you're going to add the plural S. The question is, are you going to pronounce the sa as za or sa? Za. Why? Exactly. Voice is going to affect the plural S, and you're going to pronounce it as za. This is assimilation. Good? You talked about this. This is another kind of assimilation, another type of assimilation, which is assimilation in voicing. Okay? What about words just like this, say, judge? Okay. Let me just, I need minutes. Okay, just a second. I need a. Okay. So you do have a word just like judge. Sorry about this, and then you have a church, then you have a maze. Let's say a word just like bus. Yeah? If you want to have the plural of these words, what is the plural of judge? Judges. You're going to have a schwa plus a zah sound. Okay, this one we cannot say is a kind of assimilation, but why do I have a schwa and a zah? Because I have the sound ja here. I have the sound ja. If you have the sound cha as the final consonant, you're going to pronounce the plural as judges. If you have a cha, you're going to pronounce it as churches. Churches. Then you have maze. If you have a zah sound, mazes. And also if you have a sa sound, buses. So what do we actually, well, what do we come up with that? We say if the final consonant was voiceless, the plural S is going to be pronounced as sa. This is the final consonant. If the final consonant of the word was voiced, you're going to pronounce the plural S as za. Now, if you have the sound ja, cha, sa, and za, you're going to pronounce it as is. This is the phonological rule for the pronunciation of the plural S. This is also a type of assimilation. But what kind of assimilation? In voicing. Because we're not affecting the place of articulation. We're not affecting the manner of articulation. We're only affecting the voicing in here. Good so far? Yeah? Okay, so look at these examples. You can look at the actually at the textbook. You can watch the lecture again if you want to. Okay, one more process, please. Let me talk about this process and to finish this chapter. One more process to talk about. So we talked about assimilation and we gave you examples. We have another process, which is elision. Yes, elision is very, very, easy. What does it mean, elision? It means to omit consonants. What does it mean, omit? Delete consonants. Okay, before I talk about the rule, let me give you an example. Look at the word friendship. And actually, in actual speech, I don't pronounce it as friendship. Yeah, really quickly, when you pronounce this word really quickly, what do you drop? Which sound? The da sound. Now look at the word we asked him. You're going to drop the ka sound, actually, not the da. You're going to pronounce it as a ta. The ed is going to be pronounced as a ta. Also, you took that in your advanced grammar because you do have a voiceless sound, which is the ka. So the ed is going to be pronounced as a ta sound. Yeah. My point is, a word just like friendship, look at this. You have the na consonant, you have the da, and you have the sha. Friendship. Because you have three consonants, and one of them actually is at the coda position in the word friend, you're going to drop the da. So you're going to pronounce it as friendship. Look at the transcription. Friendship. Now look at this one. We asked him. You have a sa sound, you have a ka, and you have a ta in the word asked. Why do I pronounce the ed as a ta? Why? In your advanced grammar, you took that. Exactly, because the ka is voiceless. It's going to be asked, stopped, for example, watched. Yeah? You're going to pronounce it as a ta sound because the final consonant of the verb is voiceless. This is from your advanced grammar, okay? So what happens here? Three consonants. This one is in the coda position in the word ask. So you drop the ka. Them, yeah, sorry. This is them. Yeah, not him. Okay, sorry about this. Let me change it. Yeah. Yeah, because the transcription says you do have... Okay, it's okay. You can change that. Change it when you study. This is actually them and not him. So what do we do in elision? What do? We delete consonants. If you have three consonants, you delete the middle consonant. Okay? And this consonant has to be in the coda position. Let me give give you examples more from the textbook to understand. We have 1 minute left. Please, really quickly. Look at question number 5, please. Question number 5. You see that? Which segments? Question number 5, we study questions on page 60. Which segments are most likely to be affected by elision? Elision means the omission of consonants, the deletion of consonants in the pronunciation of the following words. You have postman. Let's look at this. Can you give me the word, please, so I can show you? Yeah. Let's look at the word just like postman. Okay, what consonant do you think you're going to drop? Why is that? Because you have 1, you say 1, 1, 2, 3. You have the sa, the ta, and the ma. Which one you're going to drop? In the middle, in the coda position. Because you have post and man. This one is onset, nucleus, coda. These two are coda. Onset, nucleus, coda. Right? So this one is in the coda position. Good? Number 1, if you have a consonant cluster, this is a consonant cluster, no vowel intervening. And the ta is in the coda position, you drop the consonant in the middle. Give me the second word. Government.
The answer.
Let's see. So you have ra, na, and ma. Which one you're going to drop? Na, in the middle. This is elision, okay? This only happens in pronunciation, okay? Not in written words. Only in pronunciation. The third word. Let's look at this. Sand. Let's look at this. You have the na, the da, and the wa. Which one you drop? The da. Good? The fourth word. Pumpkin. Okay, which one we drop? Let's see. We have the ma, the pa, and the ka. Yeah, you drop the consonant in the coda position, okay? And it has to be in a consonant cluster. Yeah? Good so far? Okay. I'll see you on Sunday for the first exam. Remember, it's going to be in the department from